in finance, I'm curious, is there like a deep state of finance that wants to resist these trends? Because the banking industry is powerful. It's extremely profitable. Some people argue that JP Morgan and BlackRock are extensions of the US government. And so I'm wondering, how far can you go if you're trying to make banks obsolete, if you're trying to put payments on chain and even anonymous? When do you think there'll be the pushback?
So I think pushback is already happening. And, that's why you see so much challenges across, that whole debanking that happened in US or various other areas. But what I believe is, for example, Tether owns more US treasuries today than Germany. It's one of the largest buyers of US treasuries. So look, there is a flip side. At one end, you have a player which is actually helping you in dollarization. And at the same time, obviously, if payments move on chain, the fees and some of the entrance players lose out on a lot of revenues. So I believe it's a chicken and egg. The deep state, as you call, is impacted and is trying to fight hard. But I think if you see with BlackRock, Biddle, and a couple of other, they're also now feeling that, it's time we explore this space, get into it, see what we can do, what business models can be made. And I believe the space will grow big enough. Look, the entire crypto sector is less than the valuation of NVIDIA. So imagine the space we have to go. Means at 30 trillion will be less than maybe the top 10 in NASDAQ, 10, 20 in NASDAQ. So we have a long way to go. And I believe there is enough size of the pie is big enough for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. I think they say in tech, someone has to be 10 times better of a product in order to usurp the incumbent. But like you said, look, BlackRock, biggest financial institution in the world, is pushing the Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah.
My dad is one of the smartest guys I've ever met. He's 80 years old, master's in electrical engineering from Caltech, but he won't touch Bitcoin with a 10-foot pole because he's in that Warren Buffett mentality. Meanwhile, Larry Fink is sneaking Bitcoin into his pension fund over here. So we've already seen, what you would think would be the deep financial state breaking their own rules, and they're putting treasuries on chain, and Franklin Templeton's doing it as well. So I think you're right. I think we're actually seeing people adopt this. And with Trump in office, I think more people are going to. And it's going to be interesting to see what we see over the next year or two. What is your plan for 2025? What are the products you want to innovate? Are you trying to take your stable token onto mainnet? And how is that whole plan? How do you plan to expand this year?
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.
So 2025 is really most about expansion for us. We believe that Zoth and our ecosystem of products have found the initial product market fit. There's some early customers, early ecosystem players. And we always have the one difference at Zoth that we have been driving is the whole community angle. We have over 1 million plus community. There are close to 2 million users on our testnet. So growing the whole community, basically scaling the products, especially in the DeFi space, building more use cases around it. So today, for example, ZUSD, our stable token, is sitting on a 20 million TVL. How do we grow it to 200 million? What are the things we need to do? How we kind of get the community involved? How we can build more ecosystem around it? Can ZUSD be used for payments? Can it be used for lending, borrowing, and build those use cases around it? A key moment would be where it's still a pre-TG company. And now one of our key focus would be that to build a whole TG ecosystem, because that drives the underlying value of the whole Zoth ecosystem. How do we kind of get there and, bring a much more decentralized ownership of things? So multiple steps are there. So Q1 would primarily be all about scaling, doing our token generation event of the underlying governance ecosystem, and then really scaling the products, drive revenue, because every ZUSD minted is basically a revenue back to the Zoth ecosystem, and scale that across various products and services.
Now, the holders of your stable tokens and your soon to be issued Zoth token, those are retail, those are institutions. And I'm just curious, how do you find more of those users? And then on the other side, you have maybe your more B2B play where you're onboarding more financial institutions. So I'm wondering, is that how you look at it?
Yeah, so we have built a retail community primarily across the Zoth ecosystem who believe in this idea of decentralization. And, it's like having that following of how like many people like the whole idea of breaking barriers that we at Zoth are doing. So as of now, we have testnet access to primarily retail. But the idea is that ZUSD currently has primarily DeFi native users, which are institutions. We are scaling it to retail slowly, and it will be more time towards our TGE when we have much wider incentive and reward mechanism for users to hold Zoth token and basically also get access to ZUSD. And as we scale in 2025, then find out more retail and institutional use cases for ZUSD and build from there. On the institutional side, we have most of our fixed income products which are sold are primarily sold in KYC, KYB to institutions. And, that scales on its own. It's very similar to, products like Ondo, Aave, etc. The idea is to have two businesses. The volumes comes from institutions. The user base drives adoption.
Okay, right. So it's a kind of a different version of Aave where you got borrowers and lenders, want that extra yield, want it on chain.
Yep.
You're just providing something outside of the ecosystem, something from
TradFi.
Something also sometimes more interesting as well.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.